Welcome to another day in the Matrix. This is Waters Above. So, how did you like that new intro? Let me know in the comments below. So, we just had a wild past 24 hours in the crypto market, major flash crash, right into the dates that I was warning my community about since the beginning of this month, and it literally came to life yesterday. I had so many people reaching out to me yesterday, not only thanking me about the XRP de-risking targets between 80 to 90 cents that we hit last month, but also regarding this pullback into the 50-cent range that went as deep as 42 cents on some exchanges. I appreciate the kind words and continued support. It really means the world to me. But remember, for me, it's all about collaboration and not letting our emotions get in the way of our investment thesis, and ultimately putting in the work to design your plan and trade your plan, no matter what anyone else says, not letting yourself get distracted in the process by other people's opinions. That's what separates the wolf from the bulls and bears. So in today's video, we'll be focusing on the XRP chart and Bitcoin to get a solid overview of what to expect for the crypto market. And just a couple days ago, I released my newest presentation titled Yellow Bricks Road Decoded, which is one of my best decodes I've put together. It exposes all my theories about what to expect after this upcoming 15th annual BRICS summit that's happening in South Africa next week, and I take the time to dive deep into my theories around CBDCs and where BRICS nations fits into all of this, and also how important gold is in whatever power play the BRICS nations take action on next. I've gotten amazing feedback on this decode, so I know my community really enjoyed my take on what I'm anticipating next for the economy as a whole and where crypto fits into the big picture with CBDCs, and how the year of 2024 will be a pivotal year for those changes. And this new presentation is available now for the Mastermind community membership over on Patreon at patreon.com/watersabove. The link can also be found in the description or in the pinned comment below. So if you're new here, we do cryptocurrency technical analysis and combine it with Gematria, Numerology, and Astrology to understand these markets. Feel free to subscribe and turn on the bell notification to stay updated on when new videos come out. And make sure to give this video a like and share this channel with other conscious beings to help grow our community. And with that being said, let's take the clear pill. So, since my last update, the traditional markets are starting to show signs that this automatic rally or bull trap is in fact coming to fruition as expected. The Dow, the S&P, and the Nasdaq all correcting back below their macro 786 fib and returning into the golden pocket territory. I'm suspecting this correction will continue into Rosh Hashanah, the Hebrew New Year, on September 16th, and potentially stretched into October around the October 14th eclipse. And as we can see today, this pullback is still going on. Stock market just opened up moments ago. It will definitely affect crypto. So I have a couple gems to share today. For those who aren't Patreon supporters, you were unaware maybe of some of the nuances about this date range between the 14th through 19th, but it's stuff that I've been talking about pretty often now to consider for the month of August, since it is an elusive month, and we'll be getting into all of that today, as I said earlier. And this is, of course, creating an incredible buying opportunity for anyone who's focused specifically on crypto in the long term. Essentially, in the time frame I've been talking about for almost a year now, which is into September and October of 2023. So yesterday, I actually shared a public post over on Twitter. I'll be going over that in a moment, that I'm going to start shorting this market. And this was all about the major indices, specifically the inverse S&P and NASDAQ, and I'll be riding that out until my technical analysis says otherwise. But if I had to pick a time frame, it could be into November for the initial big swipe to the downside. This is just a fun trade for me, putting my analysis on the major indices to the test, which I usually don't give too much of my energy to since I'm mostly focused on crypto, as you're well aware. But after seeing how overextended and greedy this relief rally in the indices was, it's just way too overbought to not take advantage of this swing. So make sure to follow me over on Twitter. You can see the account over here if you like these updates at WATERSABVE. Make sure you spell it correctly. And it's the same handle over on Instagram. Everything else is a scammer pretending to be me. And if you want to make sure you're getting my official links or handles, just look in the description box of this video for that information so you can make sure you're following the proper accounts. As you're probably aware, new scammers are creating accounts every single day pretending to be me. So just make sure you double check the description of this first for any official links. And if you're getting any DMs from any other account other than what I just shared, go ahead and block them and report them if you can. I have shared this over on my official accounts as well, that I do not offer a copy trading service. I don't have WhatsApp. I will never write you on WhatsApp. I will not add you as a friend on Discord or Telegram or any of that. Just please stay safe, family. As this account grows, you know that people are going to try taking advantage of these loyal subscribers and supporters, and it's sad, but it just is what it is. Now, let's pivot over to Bitcoin and the overall crypto market, because as you're all aware, yesterday was a flash crash. I need to get into that today. Ethereum was down about 15%, and XRP dropped from top to bottom about 30%. So it's a pretty substantial pullback thus far. But both have slightly recovered, and we are unsure of where this is going to finish off. And I believe by today's video, after you're done finishing it and taking notes, you're going to have a better grip on what's to be expected for the finality of this flash crash that we're pretty much still within as we speak. So Bitcoin came down as low as 25,000 on several exchanges, currently trading at about 26. When I started this video, market started to move down a little bit because the stock market has opened up. We're about 8% down from this horizontal support range that was holding for about 3 weeks over here before this bigger correction, and ultimately still in the same macro horizontal trading range for about 150 days now. So this trading range right here, going on 154 days plus over 5 months, and until we close a daily candle below 25K right here, well, we're still technically holding a higher lows and higher highs uptrend, which has been set in motion since the beginning of this year. Pretty much right there at the start of January, we've been continuing on this uptrend, even with yesterday's pullback being considered. And perhaps this flash crash was shocking to most people, and I know the news and Twitter have their reasons to give for this correction with Evergrande and all the other things. But anyone who's been part of my community and has watched my last 2 Red Pill podcasts, you were aware that this was to be anticipated. You were more than prepared for something to happen around this exact date of the 16th through 19th of August. So I'm going to break that down piece by piece. A couple weeks ago, on August 6th, I released a podcast dedicated to reviewing all of the iterations of blue moons on the Bitcoin chart since the genesis of Bitcoin, going all the way back to the blue moon in August of 2012. Keep that in mind, since this year we also have our blue moon in August, and this correction we just had is pretty much identical to the one that happened back then. And in my last Red Pill podcast, I reviewed all of the blue moons in the stock market since the dot-com bubble, specifically focused on the Dow Jones and the NASDAQ. And between those 2 podcasts, I revealed that pattern we see often in the Bitcoin chart between August 14th and August 15th, and then into the 17th and 19th with some of these big corrections. Now, let me just play by play. I'm going to turn off all this noise and we're going to just analyze this. Last year, we have right here on August 19th, which would effectively be tomorrow. A year ago, we had a 10% correction, pretty large correction for the fact that we were maintaining an uptrend for pretty decent amount of time, 2 months after an even larger pullback. This was a very elusive micro uptrend, especially when it broke support and then we held it and then went one leg lower into November. But all that matters here is November 19th or August 19th, big red candle. Let's go over to 2016 and we're going to see something interesting in these charts. So here we are, August 16th, right there. The beginning of August in 2016, flash crash. Pretty big correction. Now we're going to go back to 2015. We're going to see right here this huge correction on August 18th, about a 24% drop onto the daily close. And that was effectively a very important double bottom, which led on to the continuation of an incredible bull run. Now let's go back to 2014 and see what we're getting here. We could actually see that we did correct into August 14th and the 18th, again, perfectly in this time frame. And when you consider from this top down to what we got here, it's about 25% total pullback. So it's in alignment what we continue to be seeing. And then here's the big one in 2012. It's right here, this moment where you had a full moon. Let me pull that up really quickly. So you had your full moon right here on August 1st, and then followed by another full moon right here into August 31st, which was a blue moon back in 2012. You see the market topped out into the 17th and then huge correction into August 19th. Pretty incredible how we have this pattern of August 17th through 19th and a flash crash in the month of August in general. And what I also find interesting is how in 2012, 2015, and 2016, we maintained the uptrend, and the lows we got in the month of August were the lowest Bitcoin went during that macro cycle. Now, of course, that was just a couple of iterations, but if we were to match market structure and all things considered from everything I just explained, we are looking in a very similar posture to what was going on in the market structure back then today. And in no cycle did Bitcoin break lower than where it was 1 year after all-time highs. So we could see back in this cycle over here, about 400 days later, we bottomed and we maintained those lows. Then over here, 1 year later, get our lows in perfectly, even with the C19 crash, maintain those lows. Then here we have our all-time high in November, going over exactly 1 year into November. It's currently our low in the cycle. So this is really interesting how Bitcoin actually continues to do the same thing over and over again. And we even had our automatic rally set up in a similar way to all past iterations. So to be as simple as possible here, Bitcoin is still doing what it always does, and it's right on schedule compared to past cycles, and it hasn't really deviated much at all. It's been incredibly similar this time around, and this recent flash crash that happened yesterday supports the cyclical nature of Bitcoin's price action and when it becomes volatile and when volume kicks in. So with that key data point in mind of August 19th, and with the stock market trading today and having its weekly candle close later today, this bearish energy could definitely continue to bleed into tomorrow for the crypto market, and it'll be trading alone on Saturday. Now let's move over to XRP really quickly. So we can see that yesterday's liquidation event brought us as low as 42 cents on a bunch of different charts, a bunch of different exchanges. It's funny how I have talked so much about the number 24 and 42 in my last decode that I just released that I was talking about in the intro, the Yellow Bricks Row Decoded. It was all about the number 24 because of the year that we're moving into. And you're all well aware that the logo of XRP is the X, and the X is the 24th letter in the alphabet. We'll be moving out of the Jubilee year soon into the Hebrew year of 5,784. That's adding up to 24. And of course, Elon Musk changes Twitter to X in preparation for all of this. And now we have XRP flash crash to 42 cents, the mirror of 24. It's just really incredible how that all works. But something really important for XRP holders that you all need to see, I'm going to be going over to a bi-weekly chart, and we're going to be looking this on area. This is going to look very clean, actually. Going to turn off these moons. And we have a couple things to consider here. I'm going to delete that, and I just want you to look at these bi-weekly candles, and by turning it to area, it takes off all the wicks. So we're just looking at the real closure data on 14-day candles. Now, You can see that I have this trend line started going back to the yearly highs where XRP almost hit $2 back in the alt season of 2021. Then we come up here for a bull trap that got rejected, which led to a larger correction. Since then, we've been holding a higher low structure, which is positive. And as of June, we actually broke out of this prior resistance, and now we are back testing it to potentially confirm it as a support. That is very bullish. So this trend line has been in play effectively for 840 days. This is no joke. That's going on almost 2.5 years. And looking back at the macro fib pull, I could do that by just loading up this chart right here. You're going to see this fib pull is going from up here on the yearly highs of April down to the swing low of June, and we have our 236 right here. I know it's a little bit difficult to see, but just look at how we recently corrected as of yesterday into the 236. So that's very important as well. Now, this is critical because essentially this marks the end of the automatic rally, especially since we hit the 618 so perfectly and so recently, and having a 54% correction in a month shows weakness. So this is typically how an AR would look in like a stock, and it looks just like that for XRP. This is a very clean automatic rally. And if you're unaware what I mean by AR or automatic rally, that comes from Wyckoff method, which is the foundation of my trading philosophy. But a very positive thing to consider is if if XRP can now get back above 60 cents, and this is where I'm going to go into a daily chart. I want to have something cleaner for everyone to look at. If XRP can get back above 60 cents, that would actually be pretty bullish, specifically 62 cents. Then this whole pullback that happened would have done its job of washing out over leveraged traders and weak hands, but particularly over leveraged traders. And we know there's way too many of those. So until XRP can recover 62 cents, it's looking precarious. And we still have a major support trend line between this area right here, about 39.40 cents on the downside. And if I zoom out and show you where this all started, it was right back here during this C19 correction. And if I show you on a weekly chart, you're going to see why I selected this trend line the way I did. Go to a bi-weekly. So right around here is your C19 crash. Let me go to the weekly, be a little cleaner. Right around this moment right here. So really, when we start to interact with this trend line in the bottom and we take it to where we're at today, we're looking at almost 1,100 to 1,200 days potentially of how we've been holding this key support line, particularly on this back test that happened right here, which was the start of the SEC case. I'm sure a lot of you remember that. And as of recently, with XRP being deemed non-security and having this breakout, still showing weakness. And that was something that I warned everyone about months ago, several months ago, to not get so bullish on this ruling because the case is not over yet, obviously. And also, what I believe will really bring the insane price discovery to XRP that people are assuming and theorizing is not what people think it is. Most people think it has to do with the SEC case. I've always disagreed with that. My belief is that it will take a washout of the shitcoin market. By having a washout of all this useless nonsense, that liquidity has to go somewhere, and it will go into assets like XRP. That's the theory. That's much more plausible, and it's much more sensible as well when you look at how many bad actors are in this space and how Ripple and their token XRP are not one of them. And that's why we follow that project as part of our investment thesis. So I just wanted to share this major support trend line coming in around 30 cents, around 40 cents. And if we look into this time frame between right now, September, Rosh Hashanah, and then we have that April 14th solar eclipse, well, that is perfectly in alignment with about 40 cents. Now, I'm not saying that we will be coming down that low. And if we are going to, let's consider some conditions, right? We need our conditions. Now, first, what we would need is going to head over here, and we're looking at this. I'm going to turn it back on candles. we would need to have a daily close, particularly below these daily closes right here, which is around 46 cents. And that 46-cent level is perfectly in alignment with the 236 fib. So if I can get the first condition, which is a daily close below 46 cents, and then second condition, which is below the 236 fib on like a weekly or bi-weekly close, then I wouldn't be shocked to see a retest of this key support trend line around 40 cents. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if in fact that does come to fruition, that it would be short-lived. So it would be something that's really quick. We just get a test below and then we pop out of it pretty quickly, getting back to 60 cents, I could assume, before the end of the year even, depending on how this all shakes out. But I'm leaning on that being a little less likely, seeing that this key macro trend line that we were talking about earlier, which I'm just going to pull up really quickly, it was the bi-weekly chart. We were looking at area, and this is the key support, well, key resistance that we broke out that now seems to be confirming a support. I really like that. Then going over here to this chart and looking at it on the candles, we are actually holding, I should show you like this, it may even be cleaner. We are actually holding a daily close structure right there, and that's been in place since May, effectively a 100-day trend line, 3 months going on to 4th month. That's really nice. We're perfectly at this pivot point, at this intersection, okay? So please consider that. So we're going to leave it at that for today, family. We have a key support level on Bitcoin to watch out for, which is around 25,000. That needs to hold in order to keep our trend. This level right here is of course what I'm talking about. Otherwise, expect a dip into the macro 236 fib around 22K. That I know sounds scary, but we've been talking about a pullback into September, October forever now. So that would be your levels to anticipate regardless. And for XRP, we went over the lower levels, and anything above 54 cents on a daily close pops us back above the long-term horizontal resistance, which we can see right here. This is very important, a very key level. We had rejections going back to October of 2022, going all the way to today. That's almost a full year now that we've had this 54-cent level give us trouble and still not able to hold today. So if we're able to get back above that level, I think we would be heading back to 60 cents in short order. But for now, we're more in a downside energy than a bullish energy, and this correction needs a moment to cool off. So let's let these charts calm down, and I'll touch base here next week. And a reminder, newest presentation that's out, we'll be covering a lot of this information to consider moving into next week, since we will have that BRICS annual summit. And this presentation is easily one of my best to date, so I know it's really going to prepare everyone for what to anticipate into the month of September coming up and October. Again, I appreciate all your continued support, family. I'm wishing you all an amazing rest of your weekend. Much love.